number one, and that's introducing Helen Bauzon. She's a dietitian, an author, a public speaker, and also a TV presenter. What's really great about Helen is that her and I have the same mentality, and that is we don't provide quick fixes and very easy to set you a diet plan and also meal plans. You can have it there in front of you, but psychologically, emotionally, if you're not there, the plans are useless. Helen's going to talk to you more about it, and she's going to provide you a presentation on how to eat healthy and also at the same time lose weight. So I'll hand it over to you, Helen, who's the expert.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that very nice introduction, Tanya, and having me come and have a bit of a chat about the philosophy that I have, which I agree is very similar to yours as well, which is it's all about the way we think. And interestingly, when I would imagine when everyone hears that the dietitian is going to come on and talk, often the immediate reaction is, oh, well, I wonder which diet Helen's going to recommend, or which foods will Helen recommend that I avoid to eat to manage my weight and maintain energy levels during stressful times. And I'll interject right here and actually say I don't believe in diets. And I even mentioned that meal plans are useless if your mindset's not in the right place. So I actually use meal plans purely as a guide, but I like to educate people to eat the right balance of foods no matter where they are, not being on a diet. So I always have the philosophy of I would love you to learn to eat a little of everything, and most importantly, guilt-free. So this is where a lot of people who I see in the clinic, and I'm confident also who I'm speaking to today, know what to eat but need help to do it. I don't need to teach people and let them know that fruit and steamed veggies and lean meats and low-fat dairy and so forth are ideal foods to eat. We know that. It's about doing it. And this is where I come in. I want to give you some tips today about really reducing the rules around weight control. So it's weight control requiring fewer rules. And the benefit of this is really to show you how you can gain more control around what you're eating, particularly during stressful times, obviously such as divorce, no matter where you are in your journey through this process. It's also in the future other stresses will play havoc. And to help you stay focused, the first and most important take-home message I really want to relay is I strongly encourage that we stop dieting. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard this saying before. It's not original from me. I have taken it, which is if you take the word T off the word diet, what does it say? I don't even really want to say that word, but you feel pretty uncomfortable. So my philosophy is to gain control, we need to stop dieting. Put the scales away. I don't weigh people. It's not important to me. So if you're not dieting, what do we do? If you can imagine a ball for me, slice it in half. In your left hand and your right hand, you've got two half balls. The left hand will contain the information to teach you how to break that dieting mentality. The right hand will hold the other half of the ball that once you've changed your thought process to remove the strict rules around food choices, it's then easier for you to implement an eating plan which doesn't require counting calories or weighing food. It's just visually portion controlling. And that's how I manage weight control. When you combine those two half balls together, it forms a ball. And when that ball starts rolling, it's very, very hard to stop the momentum. And you can keep the ball rolling lifelong in eating the right food consistently. 80% of your time is all you should aim for. Never perfection. Perfectionism breeds failure, and that's what dieting does. So that's how I look at weight control. So if you've got, I also specialize in weight loss surgery or irritable bowel or diabetes. Fundamentally, the core message is the same for everyone. We then just isolate a few independent key take-home nutritional messages to meet independent medical conditions. But to stay on track, to stay on focus, no matter what you're trying to achieve with your food, stop dieting, try and do the right thing 80% of the time. The key message to achieving this is to stop dieting. All right, I've mentioned it a few times. What does it mean? What does not dieting mean? Because if we've only known to diet, which is to eat good or bad food and avoid bad foods when on a health kick, if I'm not doing that, it's quite scary when you have a lot of freedom. We sometimes fear of, well, when do I stop? How do I stop? Because I don't know, I haven't experienced that before, and that's because of the dieting cycle. And I love this picture. What this picture is trying to relate to you is just an innocence behind of just looking at food as food. Now, how can I do that for you? How can I change your relationship from food being as a friend or an emotional crutch to more as a fuel for control? To break the dieting cycle, I'll quickly just spend the next 10-20 seconds going through in principle what the diet cycle is, and then a key message to help you start neutralizing and breaking it. So, when you're going to start another health kick, depending on which diet you're going to go on will depend on which rules have been imposed by who has advised you or what you have read. Typically, a diet means you try and avoid all the bad food and eat only the good food. So there's a clear distinction, good and bad, or healthy, unhealthy. I should or I shouldn't. Now, the bad food, what they actually consist of, will vary depending on the regime that you're on. So you've got good and bad food. By mid-afternoon, late evening, or a day or 2 or 3 days later, those cravings really start to kick in. And you typically don't crave the carrot stick you're allowed. You tend to crave the bad food in your mind, which is normally the chocolates, the biscuits, the cakes, the fried food, whatever that is. So you fight it, no, I won't, but eventually you cave in. You have what we call bad food. And as a result, the guilt comes in. And the guilt makes us overeat because, well, I've had one, I might as well have the rest mindset. And then because we've said to ourselves, oh, I'll worry about it tomorrow, I'll start again tomorrow, or I'll start again on Monday, until that magic day arrives, we tend to overeat on all the bad food. And that's what I call the diet cycle. So no matter which meal plan you're provided, if you don't change your mindset, there's nothing that you can sustain long term. And diets are just a quick fix and nothing more than that. And it just breeds frustration. So a key message to help break that is to change your thought around food. I really want you to stop using the extreme language of good or bad and just look at all food being neutral. The same, no different. So if you had a chocolate in your hand or a piece of fruit, in my mind, they're the same. It's just food. It's how much we have of each one, which makes one more appropriate than the other. So when we're going through a stressful time and we are on a diet cycle, often we use food as an anesthetic. Because if we're really stressed for whatever reason, we turn to the chocolate, we turn to the brie and the biscuits or the dip. And as we're eating, we forget about the stress in our life. But then as we stop eating, all the pain and discomfort surfaces again. Oh, and that's why eating makes us feel good. And it's hard to stop that when you're on the diet cycle. So to gain control, it's about breaking that dieting mentality and looking at viewing food as being more neutral. So that's just a bit of a heads up to get you thinking in a different way, that when you're ready, I can help you progress that further if you want on a one-to-one basis. So what I want to now do is, you can see the image on the left-hand side, you can see what diets kind of promise. It's quick, it's easy, you'll get the results. But in reality, anyone that's successful knows it's quite the opposite. It's quite convoluted, and there's going to be ups and downs, and it's about getting through those. The biggest one is only try to achieve eating the right food 80% of the time, not 100, otherwise it's another modified diet. So breaking that dieting mentality is really important. So in helping you manage your weight without worrying about what you're eating or what your calorie intake is, I focus on how you're eating. And I can break this up into two areas, which I can give you some take-home key messages. When we eat, it's because we're not hungry. It's emotional eating, or it's habitual eating, or we eat because our body tells us it's time to do so. So if you're hungry, pretty obviously, eat. Do eat at least 3 times a day, irrespective of what that is, just eat 3 times a day. And if you're eating quality food, the ideal balance, plenty of protein, it should last you at least 3 to 4 hours. And if the next meal is a good 6 or 8 hours later, it's normal to have a snack. So my snacks would be a yogurt, a latte, or a piece of fruit. And that's what I would class as a snack. The bigger issue in weight control more so is the non-hungry eating. And that's where I want to give you 3 steps that you could physically apply immediately to make a dent in your control in your weight and just controlling your mindset, because with so much going on in our lives that often not controlling our weight can also impact how we feel emotionally. You want to feel as strong as you can as you're going through divorce and stressful times, because it helps you cope a lot better. So if you go to eat something and you're not hungry, the first thing I want you to do is wait 10 minutes. Procrastinate. Have a glass of water. Go to the toilet, wash your face. At work, get up from your desk and just stand up and sit down. Literally, that distraction is enough. See if you can last 10 minutes. If you don't, and it's only 2 minutes, that's fine. Next time, work towards a longer time frame. If you do wait 10 minutes, often that urge certainly passes. After 10 minutes, if you still want to eat something, you're not really hungry, I describe it as, yes, you've earned the right to eat. You can eat whatever you want as long as you portion control it. Now, if you're not hungry, you don't need much food. So I say anything that fits in a box the size of a Tim Tam biscuit. So we all know what a Tim Tam biscuit is. I've had a few, and if you don't know, think of a little matchbox. Whatever fits in there, whether it's a carrot, whether it's apple, whether it's nuts, whether it's chocolate or dip. I don't care what you're eating, it's just food, but portion it. And I want you to make sure that you remember that you've eaten it. So sit down at a bench or a table, doing nothing else at the same time, so you can register in your mind that you've eaten something. Often we carry extra weight because we eat unconsciously, mindlessly. And that's why I get people to do a food diary, simply to help get them to acknowledge why they're struggling to lose weight, which is they don't realize how often they actually put food in their mouth. So that's some nice, key, simple 3 steps. Now, if you go through that process and think, oh, I want some more, well, then you can do that. You can physically do that by repeating the cycle. So I don't mind how many times you go through this. Wait 10 minutes, portion control, sit and eat. Because in a period of half an hour, you'll only eat 2 portions the size of a Tim Tam biscuit. That's not a lot. You compare that to stress eating, where you just sit down and eat in front of the TV for 15, 20 minutes. You would be consuming a lot more food. So this is about changing how you eat. I'm not concerned about what when it's non-hungry eating. I'm going to show you a quick little 1-minute clip.
From drama school with a note that read, wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward. Turned down by the Decca recording company, who said, we don't like their sound and guitar music is on the way out. A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman. Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. His fiancée died, he failed in business twice, he had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never lived.
Now, I do like that slide. I find the voice, the music very, very powerful, and it really is a message of no matter what you hear from me, whatever you hear from Tanya and other people in life to guide you to make a difference in your life, it's about trying it and not being afraid to try. And if anything holds you back, it's about working through what is that barrier. So with the information I've gone through today, if life at the moment for you is just too stressful, and you couldn't even implement those 3 steps, I can even make it easier for you. Do what you see on the screen. With your outside your meal times, to help increase your accountability, your control, your motivation, to feel like you're achieving, just sit down and eat. If your tush is not on the chair and you're not eating from a little plate, then don't eat in between meal times, because you're going to be so busy you won't even remember what you've done. And this is a really important take-home message to minimize that non-hungry eating between meal times. So thank you so much for your time. The key take-home message from my presentation today is stop dieting and learn to eat a little of everything guilt-free. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Helen, for that presentation. That was fantastic. I definitely learned a couple of things there. I loved it how you advise us not to diet anymore. And I have to say that I'm guilty of that myself, forcing myself to eat healthy, and it just doesn't work.
Absolutely.
So is there a contact number if any of the participants wants to contact you, or do you have any webinars they can attend?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would recommend that you go to the website helenbauzon.com.au. I'll type it in the little chat box there for you before I go. And there you can then click on to a link that takes you to the website for general nutrition, the website for weight loss surgery, and there you can download a free book with a sample day meal plan and some products to buy just to get you started. And then every month there are also free webinars that I run where I extend this kind of support as well. So, and feel free to email me if you have any concerns or questions also.
Absolutely. So basically, everyone, I'm just going to be sharing that information about Helen. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, at least you know that Helen is available and she's here to help you.
Thank you so much, Tanya, and I hope you stop dieting for today.
I have. Thank you so much for that, and have a good evening.
Take care. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.